Hello and welcome to the Black Mike Podcast. My name is Jeff. I saw a very bad movie this week. It was very upsetting.
Was that most 6 out of 10? It's a movie.
It was not The Last Jedi, which has been downgraded to about a 4 out of 10 as of late.
I wouldn't even say it's a 4 out of 10. I'd say it's a 3.
Every single time I start thinking about it, I'm like, why did they do this? And why would this work? And this seems to contradict this thing. And now I'm getting to the point where I literally had it in my hand, like I was going to put it into the DVD player at work, and because we're running out of movies and stuff like that. So I was like, fuck it, I'll put this in there and I'll watch it. And then I had to stop and think about it for 20 seconds about did I really want to watch a terrible movie like that again? And then I grabbed Pacific Rim Uprising and watched it 3 times, and it was great. It was mediocre, and Allan hates. Joining me this week is Allan, and we're just shooting the shit. So Josh is here as well.
Hey-o!
Everyone's here. But yeah, so this is something that we talked about in the preload and stuff like that. Is this movie is basically garbage and ruined.
It's not garbage. It's just it's really meh.
It's like somebody took Del Toro's entire thing and didn't fuck it up as bad as Rian Johnson did with Star Wars.
Johnson, you know what Ryan Johnson had to do with Star Wars? He didn't have to walk out. All he had to do was
Ryan Johnson basically walked into this movie.
We're not going to get onto this. No, we're not going to get onto this.
Let me say this. Let me make the joke. He saw Pacific Rim Uprising and went, "Hold my beer." It's funny because Alan's like, yeah, he's right. Anyways, yeah, I saw that movie, and it's they killed the greatest character, my favorite character from that entire movie, and they don't even have the other pilot show up. So I'm also that's doubly upsetting too. It's hey, we have one of the original pilots, and now she's a general. Oh, she's dead. Okay, what about the other guy? You would think they would show up, but that nope. It's
actually one of the ones that I was more annoyed with was, wait, where's Riley?
Mm-hmm. Right?
That was a big one for me. Wait, where's Riley?
You would think that Riley would be even an offhand comment of oh, Riley, taking care of the kids.
I don't think they have. Actually, what I would have preferred is if they just straight up mentioned he's no, she's the commander of the Jaeger program. He's the commanding officer of all of the Pacific Defense Force, and it's just oh, and it's just they just show him off just he's very bitter and old and hard, and Mako is bitter, hard, and old, you see in that movie. In the movie, she's actually still bitter and old. She's older and she's a little bit more bitter. Yeah, but I feel they wasted some things with.
I would have liked it more if the head of the stupid company died, not Mako. And then Newt basically was just well, I guess we can do this now. And then Newt just
Newt was a stupid character.
Oh my god, they fucked him up too. They ruined that entire movie. I mean, here's the thing. It's it's not so bad that they can't come back from it and make something better. It's just bad enough where you're...
Rory isn't wrong in his statement either, though, about it being the death of a franchise is that movie.
Let me say this and stuff like that. So I wrote, they killed Mako in Pacific Rim Uprising. Why? She is awesome. Why did they do this? And he responds, "Cause Uprising is garbage. Del Toro is spinning in his grave. That movie is the death of a potential that of that franchise. And it's like he's not wrong, but like if they were to do it right, what they would do is they would push that movie off to the side and then focus on those two characters, Mako and Riley.
They do the same thing with Star Wars: The Last Jedi, but they won't ever do that. Then again, considering how like Disney's like looking at the Lucas's head and
You're
going,
not talking, Allan.
What?
Josh,
Well, I'm here.
is Allan dead?
He might be. Allan, if you're there, you're turbo dead.
Hello.
Hey,
You
now you're back.
you weren't saying anything.
I was.
Okay.
Well,
I
it's
know.
not on our end.
I know why. My
Your
thing's slightly
computer's
unplugged.
dying.
No, my headset is slightly unplugged.
Okay.
No, actually, a really big thing for me with how this series is I wish with what's going on with Disney and Lucasfilms, and I'm like, oh. Remember how I told you that Kathleen, whatever her name is up for potentially being just straight up axed, and I'm like, oh, ooh, that really percolates my peanuts.
You're just so happy. You're gonna be so happy when she's gone.
I don't know. Like, she gave me Rogue One. She gave me Episode 7, but she also gave me Solo and Last Jedi, and she has a 50% win rate. And somebody tried to make an argument this just I saw today, and I'm actually a little fucking pissed off about it. That oh yeah, da 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 character. I'll see if I can find the Twitter post. It's on Twitter. I wonder if I favorited it, liked it or not, because I was liking somebody else's responses.
Mm-hmm.
And oh, there we go. There we go.
It's just
Holy crap! Oh, no, it's oh, that is not a good look.
mm,
When my internet just suddenly slows down, and I'm just like, oh, that is not a thing I wanted to see.
that's not a thing you wanted to see. These are not the things you were looking for. Anyways, we should move on.
Yeah.
We have no topics on the topic list. We completely did not plan this episode out. Ah, fuck.
Yeah, we're just kind of like shooting the shit today.
I finished War for the Overlord's main campaign.
That's every episode. We just shoot the shit.
Shut up, Josh.
For the most part.
Shut up, Josh, even though you're correct. Stop being right.
Yeah. Don't lift the veil behind the curtain, please.
Yes. But actually, before we go any further, this is the comic that they're talking about. It's a set of pictures where it shows like, quit acting due to bullying. His role as Anakin. This is kid Anakin. Nearly committed suicide for the over backlash over to Jar Jar Binks.
Oh, and then it's Kylo Ren, and it's like this is you.
Yeah, and the response somebody actually gave it is, "Let's lie down and take it as how you're acting." The fans are absolutely right, have every right to speak up if they are not happy with something because they are paid for that item. Granted, the actors and actresses should not be harassed just because they were in the movies, since it's the job, but do not act like do not act like fans' fault. There are times actors and actresses deserve the shit they get because they say something stupid, like the whole GB remark incident. Lucas had his own issues. Stop trying to simplify shit. As for Disney, they will keep failing for a pushing agenda, and that's what the person commented about, like Disney. And it's like, if Kylo Ren is like this, he's a whiny, selfish, old school, worshipping, angry cosplayer, and it's like that's not what Kylo Ren is at all. Well, nice try.
Can I be honest about something about like that entire comic and stuff like that? I don't know about you, but like I find that a lot of people get pretty pissy and stuff like that when things don't go their way and stuff like that. But like that comic more accurately depicts the other side. who
Yep.
sits there and whines about everything, and then when they get catered to, sit there and go, I wonder, is this somebody not agreeing with me? Is this Hitler? Like, it's like both sides are equally guilty of this. Let's not sugarcoat this and stuff like that in a way where people are not going to be upset and stuff like that. But both sides are actually both just terrible about this. Like we often see like reports of like nowadays like people like being like, this guy offended me and knocked my hat off, and then he took my hat and threw it in the trash. That was one. And then it's like, okay, why did this person go this far? Like, what was the purpose going this far? And what are and he should have ramifications for it. And it's like, these people don't understand that, like, okay, it's a two-sided coin. If you want people to be less shitty to you, you have to be less shitty to other people. Anyways, I don't know if you guys disagree.
Yeah, no, I'm listening. I get what you mean.
Yeah, I don't know. It might be a bad point and stuff like that, but like basically, the crux on it is like it's two-way street. Don't be surprised when you get the shit shoved down your throat.
Actually, what makes it a little more frustrating for me is that a lot of people who like, how do I put this without being like a complete asshole? Yeah, I'm actually trying to think about how that's going. My biggest problem is with how some people are like looking at the situation related to Star Wars and gaming, because that's still that's been recently propped up because of a writer and a bunch of shit.
Are you referring to the Guild Wars 2 controversy?
Yes, but we're not talking about that. We're gonna try and keep this a lighthearted episode because I don't want to like. It's just.
Josh, talk about dicks.
Well,
Actually, no. I'm curious.
Python.
Josh, have you been playing Magic recently?
Yeah, I have.
How has that been recently?
It's doing pretty well. So far, like as for the game types I like to play, I try to play both Commander and Modern. Although Modern is probably more expensive in the tournament stuff to get into, which I can say, yeah, it's pretty expensive. Because you can be like, oh man, top tier 1% deck that wins all the time, but it will cost you like a brand new computer. Like it will cost you a brand new computer, like straight up.
Yeah.
But really for me, I just get kind of a kick out of kind of brewing a dumb, stupid deck that you can somehow win with, which I've been doing. So every time I kind of go to my Monday Modern over in the store in my hometown, people kind of just always look in my direction and go, is it even a standard Modern deck? And I'd be like, nah, it's some dumb shit I found on the online, and turns out like there's some other stuff that works with it, so let's see how it works. And usually 9 times out of 10 I just don't win, but that one time I do, or get my bullshit to work, ooh.
Ooh.
Oh, I can feel so good, and warm and fuzzies in the inside.
Yeah, whenever you succeed in anything, it's always great.
Oh yeah.
But like another thing for me is just like I stopped into Warp today to see Chris, and we I was watching the tournaments happen, and I'm just like, I remember when I played this game. I remember.
I remember the shit.
I have left this shit behind, and then I realized no, I really haven't. I still have all my decks at home.
Yeah, well, that's the funny thing about Magic is like you can get tired of it, stop playing for like, I don't know, a year, maybe more, and then you'd be like, I want to get back into it though, because it's like it's always there almost. It's like D&D. It's like it's always there. Just find it, and you can get a kick out of it again. And depending on what set you're jumping into, it would be like, ooh, there's some different shit here. Oh yeah, this is really nice. And then like it's kind of this weird up and down dips of like, do you like it anymore? Do you not like it anymore? Do you just need a long break? Like, are you that friends relationship from what's the 2 characters? It's the Rachel and what's the fuck? Oh, whatever. You just need a
Rachel?
break from. Yeah, no, not Rachel. It was the two what's her faces from Friends. You know, they took the break. It was a big ordeal.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Did you not watch a single episode of Friends?
No, cause I'm not a fucking cuck.
Who are you? And how did you grow up not watching Friends?
Wait. Allan never watched Friends?
No, I never watched Friends.
Yeah, exactly. Who are you?
Hang on. Okay, do you want me to explain why?
Why?
The first few times that I've seen like the opening, I've seen some like 10 minutes of it, and I was like, no, I'm bored of this. I just don't enjoy it.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, it's like kind of a show that you watch when there's nothing else on.
To be fair, Friends is like worse than Seinfeld, and like it was very easy to appreciate back in the day. But if you're gonna sit there, if I have a choice between Seinfeld and Friends, buddy.
There was. Well, the funny thing
I actually enjoyed Seinfeld. I'm not gonna lie, but then again, I also watched MASH religiously. So fuck you both.
Well, you cut out again there, Allan. But I was gonna say, like, the funny thing is about Friends is that there has been a country that just unbanned Friends like a couple of months ago. I forget which country, but they just unbanned Friends, and people were like, "Ooh, we're gonna watch Friends." So everyone was watching the show, and they start realizing how fucking racist it is, and how fucking insensitive it is to like other minorities and stuff like that, and how homophobic and all that shit in the back of the day, how we considered funny back in the 90s. And it's like, wow, this show is shit. Like it's still kind of
really
okay to watch.
Though.
I mean, there's some certain things you're like, wow, that's really terrible.
No, you can't. Okay. No,
I mean, we didn't know back then. Sure, I would say that, but but nowadays we're looking at it, it's like that's insensitive.
That's the problem is you're looking at it from today's point of view. If you're gonna watch a show, you're just gonna sit down and watch the show. You try to turn your brain off and enjoy it.
Exactly.
That's the thing, is to like sit down and immediately go, oh well, this is what the show's all about.
You just didn't realize like how like some of the jokes in there were like, oh, you're gay, ha. It's like, well, that's nothing.
It really isn't anything. It's actually kind of like pretty fucking basic. It wasn't like even back as even back in the like even up till like what was it?
What was it? Family Values or Family?
No, it's not. It's not a show. It's what I'm trying to think is like if you even think back to like early 2000s and like even to like all the way up until like 2010 2012 in there, you still had the joke like the comments of like, oh, I'm gay, and then the crowd laughs and you're like, oh, like it's not even all that bad really. It's actually pretty meh. It's not all that like it's not super bad. Like when I hear people say it's not racist or racy or
it's not super terrible. It's not super terrible as in like hailing Hitler or anything, but it's still, I don't know, just not great. Could have been better writing, but whatever. It was like the popular show at the time.
Are you talking about how Friends is?
Yeah.
Here's my problem with Friends and stuff like that again, is that the perfect show, whenever you sit there and say that I'm making a comedy show set in New York, it's okay, my expectations immediately go to Seinfeld. That show nowadays, if I'm comparing it to Seinfeld and stuff like that, and keep in mind, I watched Friends before I watched Seinfeld. Seinfeld beats it in every corner.
Oh, yeah.
The worst episodes of season 1 of Seinfeld are basically Friends. Every episode. So for whenever anyone sits there and says, I think Friends is better than Seinfeld, it's like, no, you don't understand. Like, the comical genius that is Larry David and Jerry Seinfeld. And I would also sit there and say that, like, the major thing about Seinfeld being the show that it is and stuff like that is that basically they didn't remake the wheel 20 times. They didn't reboot it for any reason and stuff like that. They haven't had to, because those episodes still stand on their own. And if you want new Seinfeld, I would encourage you to watch Curb Your Enthusiasm, which is far filthier, far dirtier, and it's worse. It's essentially the same show.
I was gonna say it's more of a show that's just it's about nothing, but it's still about something.
Yeah, like that's Seinfeld in a nutshell. And
Actually, another show that would be really good to watch, I would strongly recommend people to watch, is MASH. It has some dark, dirty humor in it, and it's just like, and like a good character. One of my favorite characters in the show is, fuck, what's his name? Oh my god, the guy who dresses up as like a woman to try and get fucking Section 8 out of the fucking military.
Oh, what's it?
Klinger.
The name.
Klinger.
Yeah.
And he's from Lebanon and all this stuff. He's got a big nose. He always dresses up as a woman. And the colonel of the unit that's like looking after him, he sees him for the first time and kind of like just immediately chews him out. And the guy's like, yes, you should totally send me home. And the colonel immediately clicks in. It's like, yes, because sending you home on a Section 8 is exactly what you want. And the colonel, and he's like, well, why wouldn't I want to go home on a Section 8? It'd be great. And it's like, no, you really don't understand. You get Section 8, you're going to the crazy bin. And he kind of like stops and thinks for a moment. It's like, well, I'll have to keep trying though, sir, because I really don't want to be here. And like colonel's like, nobody wants to be here, but son. And like it plays on the joke of like him cross dressing and stuff like that, and like overdressing and stuff like that, to try and get like dismissed from the military. And like that's a running theme in the show. There's another one which is Radar, who like can preempt what someone's thinking or saying and stuff like that, and just like the colonel will walk in, say, Klinger, Radar, can you get da da da, and the Radar will be immediately saying that he's already done it. They've been informed and stuff like that, and then like the colonel will be like, oh well, thanks.
Basically,
Hawkeye, yeah, it's a great show.
Yeah, MASH is like, here's the thing I would say about MASH is, and this is my personal opinion and stuff like that, is that it's one of those poppy, like, some of the episodes and stuff like that, you notice a variety of tones with it.
Mm-hmm.
And I would sit there and I would watch it at work and stuff like that, and it's like, man, this is an interesting show because it's different.
Yeah.
Modern shows don't set their wars in Afghanistan as a comedy.
No.
And it's interesting and stuff like that. Like, again, comparing it to something like Corner Gas and stuff like that, which has gotten a lot better, as I might say, and stuff like that. That's another show that we should talk about a little bit and stuff like that. Is
I like Corner Gas, but Corner Gas has a lot of.
It's so dry.
And no, it's a lot of dry humor.
Yeah.
And that's a very English prospect, and to see it coming from a Canadian show tells you what kind of humor we have. Considering that show ran for 9 seasons.
I would say that show tends to be like, I like Corner Gas and stuff like that, but it's like every episode is very similar and stuff like that. It hasn't been until they decide that we're going to do an animated series that they've really changed it.
Yeah.
Stuff like
well,
that.
they could, if they're doing live action, they can only do so much, and with dry humor, you can only do so much. So like Davis being like,
yeah,
this kind of lazy cop, and like they play on stereotypes and stuff like that, which isn't a bad thing because it's actually pretty fun. But I do agree that that Corner Gas is actually more of a dry comedy, and that actually works to its favor because that's the reason why it was so popular, because it was dry comedy. And it like you don't see that anymore nowadays. You see a lot of like straight hard comedy that you sit and let people laugh. Whereas with Corner Gas, it's kind of more like a sitcom comedy.
Mm-hmm.
And it's really well done because it doesn't let any it hits you with the jokes fast, hard, and in a way that you're like not expecting half the time because it's just like out of fucking left field. You're like, what the fuck just happened?
Mm-hmm. Anyways, I played so anyways, changing gears.
Yeah.
Gears need to be changed. Josh.
Mm-hmm.
I finished War of the Overworld.
Did you now?
I used the ketos in order to do stuff.
You use the ketos?
Ketos. Use the ketos to do things. That game ends exactly the way I thought it was going to end, which is very funny because how it ends is basically your boss the entire time is like I'm not going to betray you. I'm not going to betray you. I am not going to betray you. Every single time it's like everybody's like you know he's going to betray you, right? And it's like yeah, you really can't do anything about that now. Then he betrays you, and you're like, okay, you betrayed me, and then he loses.
Yep.
And then goddess of the realm basically is like, you can do whatever you want. Be free. It's like, okay, I'll be free. Thank you.
I will be my own person now.
Yes.
Thank you for your time, my lord.
Thank you.
Too bad you are a terrible and boring individual.
Yeah.
No. Oh fuck. So I got stupid. Like I love the fact that you're just like I finished this game today and stuff like that. That's actually really cool that you've actually gotten that done.
Mm-hmm.
I started painting an Imperial Knight over the long weekend, and I'm almost done stage 1, and that's doing like all the metal bits, and that was like all day Sunday, most of Monday, and a little bit of Tuesday evening. That was how long I worked on that game, on that model. And I'll send a picture here in chat in a little bit of like what stage I'm at. And I've never been like so unhappy or so disappointed with how much work I've put into something to suddenly realize that I'm not even halfway done. I was like, I have much work to do. But at the same time, I can't really like hate on anyone. It's like,
Yeah.
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 Yeah, I know. I got really boring there for a minute there.
Yeah. Oh, actually, you know what? I just remembered. We were just talking about magic, and we got sidetracked real hard.
Yeah. No,
Magic.
that's gonna. I hate to break to you, but that's gonna happen.
Oh, that's gonna happen. Although I wanted to mention though, there's a new card coming out from the new set that's just gonna be coming around next week. It's a weird card that they pulled out of the ether for no reason, but I'm super excited that it's coming out because you could do some dumb bullshit with this card. If I could just quickly fucking find it. Basically, it's a rare card from all the way back of Masquerades, and it does something kind of broken, but nowadays is like probably not so broken at all. Let's go with sort this by color. Where is this? But basically, the ability on the card is tap it, add a charge counter, and it's already used up. You already put a charge counter on it. But if you have three charge counters on it, tap it, remove them, you get an extra turn. And it's the staff of where is it? So basically, the staff, it's kind of a weird pull. It's like weird. Why did they even pull this like from all the way back from the Masquerades? Because it's like it does such a weird and unique thing, but it's like gives you an extra turns though, so that's kind of neat. But I'm super excited for this card because I have a deck that abuses charge counters like a motherfucker. So the single second this hits the table, I'm gonna be having all the free turns. It's gonna be so funny, and probably if it works out great, I could probably win modern tournament. Like I could probably win modern games with this dumb deck with this dumb card. What's it? Okay, I found the name of the card. It's Magistrate's Scepter.
Good job, Josh. You sound so happy.
Yay!
You sound happy.
I'm so freaking happy because I did research into making a charge counter deck, and I found this card beforehand and going, ooh, this is an interesting card. But then realizing you can't use it in all bunch of the, like, I was trying to make a deck so that whenever when I was at Nate, someone said, oh, I got this modern deck or I got this standard deck or whatever, I was trying to make like one for each category. And when I found out this was like, oh, legacy or vintage only, and I was like, I guess I can't use this card. But I'm like, this card's super cool. But now I'm like, I can't wait. It's gonna be dumb.
Yeah.
If they don't freaking destroy it, I'll get all the free turns. Like,
Jesus Christ. I worry about
it's
you.
gonna be so good. Oh, I just can't wait. It's so good. Oh, I can feel the power.
Power of voodoo? Who do? You do.
Oh yeah, I totally do. Oh, there's also a whole bunch of cards from the new core set coming. Oh yeah, that's another thing. They're bringing back core.
Yeah, I heard. I'm like, good.
Yeah, it's like, it also kind of shows how flip-floppy Wizards is, or they have to pay attention to their overlords.
It's almost as if Wizard doesn't understand what to do anymore, so they're just like.
I think that they just don't have like a decent leader at the helm of freaking Wizards of the Coast anymore.
That's a very good point, Josh.
And I think one too many people are just put their hands in the pot type of thing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Or if anything, it feels like
It could be
Magic.
it could be the fact that you have a bunch of people who don't like the game, weren't actually fans of the game at all, and only played the game because their boyfriends or ex played it and stuff like that, and then they got this stupid job, and then they hate the fans and stuff like that. That's kind of seems like what it is, like, as an outsider looking in.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, there is a good chunk of stuff in that. Like, I mean, I can't really like. I only been paying attention to the card stuff, but as for like, I don't know, all the gossip and what's going on of Wizards, they did fire one person for their quality control because the quality control for Wizards products went through the fucking floor. Because there's video showcasing some of the Dungeons and Dragons books that have been published, and they're so poorly printed. Like, what was it? The video that the guy was showcasing one of the books was printed upside down. So the cover, you have to flip the book upside down.
Oh, jeez.
As you're flipping through the book, you're going from page 1 to page 50 in like 3 pages. Like, it didn't make any sense. And then as you keep flipping through the book repeats itself over and over.
Yep.
So you go from 1 to 50, repeat, 1 to 50, repeat. And it's like, what the fuck is going on? And then you look at the top of the pages, the printing, like how they print the pages out, you can still see like their test markers on the top of the pages.
Yeah.
It's like what the fuck?
Okay, so you want to know what the real problem with Wizards of the Coast was? And I can 100% tell you the reason why this happened. Is Wizards of the Coast tried to be very
inclusive
and like try to be like, oh well, look at this.
We're going to hire somebody who isn't a fan of this game.
Yeah.
We're going to hire somebody who says they're a fan of the game, but we're not going to ask them any foreign questions about the game or anything like that. We're not going to ask them like, what's your favorite deck? What's your favorite combination and stuff like that? We're not going to ask them like what type of characters they like to play and stuff like that in D&D and stuff like that. That's what I'm gathering and stuff like that. Can I, like, am I wrong?
I don't think so.
Allan?
Not really.
Okay. Okay, can I go into why that's stupid and dumb?
Sure, go for it.
Okay.
I mean, I think we all know, but go ahead.
Okay, when you hire people like that and stuff like that, what you're doing is you're actually not hiring somebody who's passionate about the job. So, of course, they're not going to put 100 times hours and stuff like that. Another thing that you would need to do in order to fix Wizards and stuff like that is like, so like the first thing that you would have to do to fix Wizards of the Coast is get people who are passionate about the games. How many YouTubers do we know that have successful, like, streams and stuff like that? Well, Boogie298 was recently attacked by one of these persons. So why isn't Boogie part of Magic?
Oh, they recently turned around and cut ties with him because he
was
right. Association
so like
with
it seems to be
Jeremy, and I'm like, oh, you just killed so much of your fan base with just one fucking move. Are you retarded?
So like that's that's going to lead into point 2. So A, that person should not have a job and stuff like that. B, the person who made that decision should not have a job. The ban on Jeremy and stuff like that is
dumb,
but we'll say it's fair, just for
No,
sake of
no,
argument. No,
it's
no, no.
not
We're just saying it for fair, just for sake of argument.
okay.
Just so that way we're not fighting about
sorry.
this.
No, you should have started off for sake of argument. We're just gonna say it's fair, just to keep, just to make this point.
Even though, in my personal opinion, it could have been handled better and stuff like that, and shouldn't be a lifetime ban. That's my personal opinion. Everyone else can have their own. Alan, you probably have the same thing. Probably don't even think he should.
I don't even think he should have been banned because he didn't do anything wrong. He criticized someone. He said it in a very harsh way, and I do agree he could have been a little bit more gentle about it. But honestly, considering like what he's like pointed out about the Magic community since his ban and how he's literally ripped their guts out from underneath. Yeah.
And Josh, I'm just going to assume here that you really don't care.
For the most part, yeah. I mean, at first I was like, oh, this guy's a jerk. And then people are like, no, he's not a jerk. He's just pointing out something. And I'm like, I don't know what to know anymore. So fuck it. I don't care anymore.
Josh, whenever Josh tries to play political, that was the one time Josh ever played political. And then me, Rory, and Allan all beat him into the dirt. It was very sad.
Well, at the same time, I don't quite know all the facts of like why or where and how. Most of the time. So I'm like, yeah.
Anyways, I remember getting into an argument of basically saying that you can't police your own fan base, thus you should be banning the fans, not banning the people who actually did the harassing, not him. But that was my point and stuff like that. And I stand by that point, oddly enough. But like my basic opinion and stuff like that is that like those people, yes, they think it's a cool job and stuff like that. Yes, they want to be hired and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, they're not passionate enough in order to do the job, and they're not doing a good job. That's what I mean by that. It's not like how like, you know, the Cuphead devs, they wanted to make a video game, so they made a video game and stuff like that. It's not like, you know, BioWare devs and stuff like that. They wanted to make a video game and they were passionate about this stuff. So they made a video game because they were passionate about this stuff. You know, like this is not normal. This is not stuff that's new and stuff like that. And basically what the problem is right now is that you're bringing in people who are diverse, but you're not bringing in people who have different opinions.
It's not even that. They're not even bringing in like those that have diverse opinions. They're not bringing in people who show they can do the work. Because I've noticed a drop in quality of like the art style and stuff like that with Magic and stuff like that. And like I'm just it's kind of sad.
The same issue that Marvel was having a few months ago. And quick update,
a few months
like
ago.
In terms of that whole entire shenanigaboodle, lots of indie art now. So that's pretty cool. And
I have never been so excited about fucking like no name startup fucking brands in such a fucking long time.
Right. Okay. Anyways, moving on. So then point number 2 and stuff like that is, and I'm going to say this very generally, and this is probably how Black Mind's going to do it if we ever incorporate or whatever. Assuming that ever happens. Assuming. Not saying it will. But like the way that I would run Black Mind and stuff like that is that basically we would disassociate all of our Twitter accounts that we have right now away from everything. We would just say like, these are not our Twitter accounts. They would follow, these are our personal Twitter accounts. They're on our phones and stuff like that. At work, we have our actual work Twitter accounts. And we would submit something. If I could, what I would do is I would make a program where we submit something, our community manager looks at it and goes, is this going to be a total shitstorm or not? Yes, approves it. It goes posts to our Twitter. If not, he goes boop and stuff like that and down the drain. That would be the way I would do it and stuff like that.
That's policing the staff though, and I don't know.
Well, the reason why I would rather police the staff and stuff like that is because let's say we hire somebody on and they share some information that is under NDA.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. Then we sit there and we go up to the, instead of having him post it and stuff like that, we catch it in the act, and then we say, no, do not do this. This is why you don't do this, and stuff like that. And like the person who I would probably want as like the guy managing this stuff, I would basically sit there and say, like, look, like if it causes a big issue, what's the worst that can happen? Your job is basically fine. Basically what we do is we just go, oh, this person's fired, I guess, and stuff like that. It's not like the Guild Wars girl who, and plus, like, if it is like a massive issue and stuff like that, let's say somebody picks a fight with their fans. That happened this week. Like, it's better if we can, like, sit there and say, like, no, you're in the wrong here, and then we sat there and we say, here's why you're in the wrong, and stuff like that, and prevent a massive hubbubaloo, instead of saying, like, you know, what you did was wrong, here's why what you did was wrong, here's how come, here's why it is wrong, and stuff like that. But, like, having a social media presence and then linking your job to your personal account, and then using your personal account to express your views, expose your views and stuff like that. That stuff just like pisses me off. Like, as a fan, it just annoys me and stuff like that, because it's like, man, like, I really don't give a shit about how this person hates Trump like 50 times over. I really just want to know this information and then leave.
Yep.
And like making it so that, like, let's be honest, like, again, talking about the war, or not the Warframe, it was ArenaNet issue that happened this week. It's like, when that stuff happens, it's like, it's better if, like, you can prevent it and then reprimand the person before the firestorm starts to happen and stuff like that. And ArenaNet actually did the right thing, and they actually caught it before it became a massive issue. That was on the scale of, let's say, something along the lines of, like, what was a big issue that happened like a few months ago? Oh, loot boxes. Yeah, loot boxes.
Yeah. Oh yeah, god damn it.
Yeah. Also, yeah, and that's personally my opinion and stuff like that, is like, hire people who are passionate and can do the work, and that you know are good enough and capable in order to do the work. If it takes some time, you know, finding them and stuff like that, you can never waste enough time finding talent. Step 2, police social media policies and stuff like that. Or just simply say, don't have your fucking job title and your company that you work for on Twitter, you fucking dingus.
Yeah.
We'll provide you with
that one I would agree with.
We'll provide you with a Twitter account if you need a Twitter account.
Yeah.
Which is fine. Like, that's the way that I would personally do it. And that would be basically how I do it and stuff like that. And I have like 3 Twitter accounts right now. So, like, because I'm crazy, I have like 2 burners and my main. But, like, that's basically it. Like, yeah.
You gotta treat Twitter like it's you know, Dota. You gotta have your main account, the one you care about, with all your fancy skins on. And then you have that second account that it's like, I just want to just dunk on some fools. So you on purposely play a little worse, a little terrible, just so you can stay in that rank of, yeah, I've got to dunk on them, just real good. Bam! And then maybe you have a third account that you're like, I want to get a little better, but I want to be professional, so this is going to be that tournament account.
Yeah.
That's exactly it.
Like, Twitter is basically right now like a lawless wasteland.
I mean,
it's less a lawless wasteland. It's more like Twitter's dumb right now is all.
Just retweet the hottest memes. Just do it.
Was Twitter ever really that good anyways?
It depends.
I realized it wasn't that great, but, like...
Well, the dumb thing is, it's like, Facebook, whenever something happens on Facebook, people kind of know about it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that it would reach out to a bigger ecosystem, where Twitter is kind of its own enclosed ecosystem. So it's whenever there's something on Twitter, it's like people know about it, but you have to make an account. So it's like, I think if you just get rid of you can see posts even though you don't have an account, I think that reaches out further. But I think in order to get even more reach out, you should make it more of a, I don't know, like make it so it's a plug-in to other websites or something, type of thing. I mean, that would make way more sense.
Yeah. It's like, well, like the big problem with Twitter right now is stuff like that is like you're basically getting an unconscious stream of thought.
And it's a lot of porn, drawing of cute creatures.
I just saw your fucking card captor thing. Jesus fucking Christ.
This is so good, right? It's so good. Then my friend is also there at the Anime Expo in Los Angeles, and I'm like, I'm so jelly.
You're fucking amazing asshole of a friend who's a streamer has a terabyte SSD. I'm not jealous.
This is like forever ago when he was like, "Oh, I gotta make this new computer. Do you mind passing me that SSD?" And I'm like, "You fucking prick!" It's like, this is 2 terabytes. You just have it laying about.
Yep.
I mean, we can. Hey, can we have the? This is our thumbnail because I think this is perfect atmosphere for what we are doing.
No, no, no.
Or maybe the cat with a human face.
Yeah,
because that one's pretty fucking cool.
The cat one with the human face would work.
Because it's like kind of like the the endangered cat in the mountains has the same face of like the face is looking really superhuman, but the dumb thing is like it uses that human face for more of like tracking his predators.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a reason why there's these certain cats have like human like faces, because it's like, yeah, the most predator thing to have is a human face apparently.
Yep.
So, because the only reason why I know that is because I really dug into the fucking lore of Mass Effect at the time. Because I was like, why is everything bipedal? And why do they have remotely, like, 2 eyes in the same spots like everyone else does? Wouldn't it be like behind the head or like all the way around the head or something? And it turns out like, no, if you're a predator,
it's like if you actually are like a bipedal
predator,
an evolved omnivore or predator. Forward eyes are best because side eyes are meant to give you full range around view so that you can observe what's chasing you or what's hunting you. Forward vision gives you the less vision, but allows you to focus more, and that's the difference.
Exactly.
And that's the point.
Yeah.
And the reason why it's like bipedal and stuff like that is because, well, you need to be able to work with your hands and you need to be able to like work with objects. So like it's surprising, like no, if you actually think about this slowly and logically down like a line, like the only reason why you'd have something that has more than like 2 legs is if they're like toric or like where they have an upper body where it's very human-like, but their lower body is like 4 legs or 6 legs and something like that. And it
or
just,
the L-core.
Yeah, or the L-core and stuff like that. With the L-core, fucking weird.
They're weird, yeah, definitely. Or they can't display emotions, but yet they can still talk. So they have to talk their emotions through basic speech, like a speak and spell.
Happiness.
I feel happy.
What is happy?
A complex confusion. What? That's basically the L-core. But yeah, it's like with the forward. I mean, like it's so weird, like how evolution just knocks out all the weird shit, and it's like, no, this works. Yeah, forward face. Yeah, that's fine. Okay, so what about creatures that need dicks? 1 dick is fine. What about 2 dicks? No, that's too many. Oh, that's too many. What about sharks? Well, they kind of need 2 dicks.
Well, well, we're gonna talk about dicks for a second. It's like, well, if you think about it. Somebody actually did the science behind like, who has the biggest sperm of all the mammalian species? You want to know who has the biggest sperm? Or well, the biggest sperm in the world. Do you want to know who has the biggest sperm?
Oh, what has the biggest sperm?
A fly.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I guess compared to its body, yeah.
No, it's the biggest by comparison to all other sperms.
Huh.
It's like longer than its body. And like it's like, what the fuck? However, The smallest sperm in the world, not in comparison to the body, compared to all other sperms. You want to know what it is?
The humans.
No. We're in the
Whale?
we're about yeah, actually it's the blue whale.
Eh,
Yeah, because and that's the difference is that's actually a big difference is because a fly only shoots out like 2 to 3 like
Oh.
sperm for every time it mates. Humans, whales, like things that prefer like that have smaller sperm also have more sperm.
Mhm.
We have millions. Whales have tens of millions or hundreds of millions to fertilize one egg.
By the way, we have to mention this right now. I want to congratulate everyone on winning the chicken dinner. Depending on how old you are, you might have been 20 years ago, 10 years ago. But I want to congratulate everyone on winning the chicken dinner. And if you don't get the joke,
Wait. Yeah, I got the joke. God damn it, I'm disappointed in you, Jeff.
the original Battle Royale.
Josh finally caught on.
no, I was like, you're talking about Battle Royale, but I don't quite get the
Oh.
Because it's like, yeah, I saw that Twitter post too, and I was like, God fucking shit.
It's funny being like a guy who took biology, and then I saw that and I was like, you know what? That's actually kind of correct.
That's not wrong at all.
It's not. It's actually really right.
It's entirely right, which makes it even fucking funnier.
Yeah.
No, I just out of like all the big things and like again like if we meet aliens, they're not going to be super radically different. They're definitely going to be bipedal. They're going to have at least 2 sets of eyes because they need depth perception. They're going to have at least 4 limbs, 2 legs, and 2 arms. Fingers, but then like you start getting into more like as you get to more specifically, like well, what's their skin texture going to be like and stuff like that? What's their blood composition, stuff like that? That's the things that are going to be different, and that's where the differences are going to start to like arise. And like again, like it's not super like if you follow along logically, bipedal aliens with 2 hands, 2 arms, 2 legs, 2 eyes, a mouth, ears. That's going to be pretty standard. It's just going to be how it looks in comparison to us, and that's the difference. Yeah.
Anyways.
Although I do really like the hand. It's the fucking Elcar and the. Is it the Hanar or the Hanor or the Hanar?
Elcor's the giant elephant-like dudes.
Yeah, and the floating gas pockets are the Hanars.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the Hanar is the space octopuses that are translucent and really cool looking.
We have joined you in your mission.
And they speak in third person.
Yep.
We are one. We are one.
And another one is... Oh yeah, the other space race that I kind of feel like they got the short end of the stick is the Solarian?
The frog people.
Yeah, the frog people. They live like 20 years, max 40. And it's like, what the fuck? How did they evolve so hard? Like down that path. It's like, wow, I'm surprised you got anywhere.
Yeah. No, the other thing that also gets me is the fact that there's the mole people or whatever they're called, where they're like the Quarians, where they're like in a hazard encased suit, but I think they're also just like sentient gas, and I'm like, that'd be really bad if somebody punctured your suit, and I just like I get a giggle out of it, but I'm like, oh my god, that's so horrible, Alan, stop it.
Yeah. When I first run into those guys, what's the name of them? Just dumb mole people. It's like when you run into them, they're always kind of skeezy and not even like remotely likable. And it's like, come on.
Well, no, it's not that they're not likable. They are actually pretty likable for the most part. It's just that they're obnoxious when you first meet them, and it's actually kind of funny because they're like it's the first obnoxious race you meet.
Yeah.
All right, Jeff is yawning. I think he wants to go to bed.
No. But I think we're done with the show.
Yeah, I want to go have a shower. I didn't get to do like my workout this week, or my workout today, so I want to go to bed and
I'm gonna go
rest up
for
tomorrow.
I'm gonna go for a run. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna go take a dump.
yeah.
Good night.
So thank you listening to the Black Mind Podcast. I hope you guys have a good night. I hope everyone enjoyed listening to the show. Thank you, Allan and Josh, for listening or helping me with the recording. And hope everyone has a good night and a good week. Good night.
Oh no. Here and okay, now it's recording. What? Holy shit. Your kickstands? Oh. Uh-huh. The zombie corpse of Steve Jobs?
Yes. Steve Jobs, Uncle Steve, as he will be known on this podcast, was a lot of things.
Uh-huh.
Innovative was not one of them. Basically, what Steve Jobs was he was somebody who took the ideas and made them simpler, so that way then people could understand how to use them and stuff like that. He was a great person, I'm sure, and he was, for a long time, I would consider him Windows' greatest Microsoft's
Rival.
greatest rival. Right now, Microsoft basically can do whatever the fuck they want, and Apple's not going to sit there and hold a gun to them.
Because they literally can't. They have nobody to like remotely capable of replacing Steve Jobs.
No, and like that's the thing is like every single time I talk about this with Apple and stuff like that, it's like stuff like why is the iPhone X Why does the iPhone X not have Touch ID? Why does the iPhone 7 not have a headphone jack? Like these are basic core principles that a smartphone should have, and it just annoys me to the point of like where like it just annoys me. So like that's my 2 cents on it. Anyways, I had a really fun week.
Oh.
I was gonna mention something. I watched Pacific Rim Uprising. That movie is bad.
It's at most a 6 out of 10.
It is better than Star Wars Last Jedi
Yep.
because it has giant robots in it and the CGI is pretty good. But like you watch and it's like the thing that was so good about Pacific Rim was it did giant robots right.
Yep.
Every single punch, every single movement felt purposeful. Whereas this is like
They had weight behind it, and
yeah, and this is like not that and stuff like that. There's a few cool fights.
It's almost Gundam-like, and I hate to say that because Gundam actually does still move with a lot of purpose. It's just more like modern Gundam where everything moves so quickly and so fluidly.
I would say that I'm okay with modern Gundam moving so fluid and so quickly and stuff like that because the major thing with modern Gundam and stuff like that is that modern Gundam and stuff like that, the major thing with it is that it tends to be these are super advanced war machines, and most of the Gundams are like monsters on the battlefield, like they're meant to be overpowered piles of trash. So it's like they're able to move faster than everyone else. Yeah, that makes sense and stuff like that. The one thing I will say, and I will say this very earnestly and stuff like that, is that something like Pacific Rim Uprising. Pacific Rim has a very strong female character.
Oh, the kid?
The girl, not the kid. Yeah. Not Pacific Rim Uprising, Pacific Rim Rum, or One, has a very strong female character. Can you guess who it is?
Mako Mori?
Yes. Guess what they do in the first 30 minutes of this movie?
I know what they do. Don't worry.
It's like we have her just for diversity. Does she do anything? No. And then you have a person who's literally an exact replica of Mako Mori, and it's like we're just gonna have her be Mako now. It's like Mako would have if it was Mako doing this and stuff like that, it would have made sense for Mako to be that character to a T. It's like, oh, I'm running this foundation now and stuff like that. Although what they do is they make her like one of the generals and stuff like that. It would have been interesting if but what they do is they're like, oh, this person has no Jaeger experience. Now she can pilot a Jaeger single-handedly. Yes, it's a Jaeger that's about half the size as a norm, or like
not even half
foot of a normal Jaeger, but it's still a Jaeger. It's like
a micro Jaeger. It's like what they refer to in 40K as an Imperial Knight, which if you've seen those things, like a Jaeger is the size of a Reaver Titan in 40K, and a Reaver Titan in 40K requires, I think, 6 crew, but. But 3 of those are up in the cockpit, and even then, it's one guy technically piloting the ship. The other 2 are operating like the weapons and the locomotive system.
Mm-hmm.
That's literally, but they're all strapped in neurologically. The other 3 pilots are a tech priest, and 2 brain dead servitors who literally operate the guns as per instructed. So yeah. No, it's just this one was really, really weird.
In other news, co-production of a Gundam live-action movie has begun.
Yeah, I heard. I don't know how I feel about that.
Okay. There were some really good stories in Gundam. Gundam Wing. Gundam Unicorn. The original Gundam. Iron Blood Orphans.
None of them are going to translate well into a movie.
No. None of them. Like, here's the thing, is like...
Actually, no. There is one series that would transfer well into Gundam.
Say it.
MS-8.
That one would actually work and stuff like that, and the problem with it is that, like, you compare the EZA to any Gundam, and it's like, that doesn't look like a Gundam. So like
it's
they would
not though. That's the funny thing is if you actually
it's a ground Gundam.
It's not even a ground Gundam. It's just like a mobile suit that's just been upgunned to be like have the equivalent power of a Gundam.
Yeah, but like basically what the ground Gundams were was there were mass-produced prototype units based on the GIM.
Yep.
And they were basically upgraded, so they were, instead of calling them GIMs, they were called Gundams. Anyways, I'm very sad. I don't know. I was very upset when I watched that movie. I watched it like 3 times because it was on at work.
What movie?
Pacific Rim Uprising, and I was very upset. Like they do so much things in the first one to make sure that understand that being drift compatible isn't like you're drift compatible with everyone. No, it's like no, you have one person, you have like maybe like 5 or 6 people in the world that you are drift compatible with. They make that point very clear, and then they sit there and they're like, "Oh, you can be drift compatible with anyone in this one."
Well, actually, no. They do a pretty good explanation behind why it's that way. It is still actually a pretty solid explanation.
Is it?
Well, no. It's like they say, as a kid, you become more capable of being drift compatible from a kid point if you start training as a kid, which makes sense. So, because if you grow close bonds as like when you're like, oh, I'm 10 years old and this is going to be my partner for life. It actually becomes really easy. I like that's how it's worded and set up, and I can believe that. because that's how Spartans and stuff like that used to do it back in the day, or like knights, where like they train like their squires together, and like ultimately they become closer and closer and closer. It's the reason why like military training they drill you so tightly close together with all the other ones.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyways.
No, I don't disagree with you. It still does kind of like cheapen some of the big things.
Yeah. It's just like to the point of where like when they sit there and they like the one thing I would have loved if they did was if they had sat there and they made one like joke about like, yeah, these are a bunch of kid soldiers and stuff like that. And it's like, although the one thing I do hope to God happens is I hope to God that they make a Godzilla movie or they make a Megas XLR movie.
I hope Mega LXR ever comes back, because Jesus Christ, that was great.
Here's the thing: is like think about it like this: is that you get Jack Black as Cooper, because Jack Black kind of fits Cooper's build, like this kind of punk rock kind of guy. Yeah. He's kind of like that, and then you can even do like not
Can Johnny Knoxville be his best friend?
Yeah, Johnny Knoxville can be his best friend.
I can see that.
You have Jennifer Lawrence as Kira, I think her name was.
No, I wouldn't do Jennifer Lawrence.
She needs to be like Mexican.
No, I'd actually go.
No, she was Asian.
She was Asian?
She was more Asian.
Mako Morori's actor. You get Mako Morori's actor.
I could see that. That would be a really good one, actually. No, the other one that I could see is oh my God, her name is on the tip of my tongue.
I'm just looking at the Pacific Rim subreddit now because I'm sad. I don't want to be sad. Shut up.
Are we just recording this podcast without introductions and stuff like that?
No, because we haven't even synced yet.
Yeah, I guess.
Or we keep going and you don't sync and
we
just be
sync
trash.
we sync at the end, and Jeff just syncs from there and just deletes everything that we don't want to have.
Yeah. Okay. Well, fuck it. We'll sync now, and then we'll start the show. Sync in 3, 2, 1.